going to go ahead and call the Costa Mesa Sanitary District Board of Directors study session for September 12th to order. Madam Clerk, the roll call, please.
Director Arthur Perry.
Here.
Assistant Secretary Robert Uden.
Here.
Secretary Arlen Schaefer. Here. Vice President Jim Ferryman.
Present.
And President Michael Schaefer.
Here.
Thank you.
Thank you. This is the time and the place now of the meeting for public comments. Anyone from the public wishing to speak on an item that's not on the agenda can do so now. And seeing no one, we will move to our items of study. Item number 1, Scott.
Thank you, Mr. President. Steve Cano will be introducing to you the board, our newest employee. So, Steve.
You're up, Steve.
All right, good morning, guys. As you know, we are back to full crew with the sewer crew, pump crew. This is Eric Caldera. He's been with us for about 3 weeks. He worked for City of Brea part-time on a parks crew, and also is working part-time with Chino Hills on the sewer crew. So we welcome him. Currently, he's on the cleaning crew right now with Joel. And as you know, we have 4 dedicated to cleaning and 2 dedicated to our pump stations. So eventually, he'll get on with Tony, start learning the pump stations.
Very good. Eric, welcome to the family. We're glad to have you. If you've made it 3 weeks, it looks like you're going to do okay.
Yeah, look at how well he got into the action.
I mean, we're very proud of our staff, and I'm sure you'll fit in very well.
Yeah, Joel, I like Joel. He's a good mentor. So everything he's teaching me, I'm like a sponge right now.
I was going to say, be a sponge, man, because you've got some good experience and some good leadership to show you what to do.
Of course. Thank you.
Thank you, and welcome aboard.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay. August. Item 2.
Thank you, Mr. President. Ed Roberts will be giving this report.
Good morning, President Schaefer, members of the board. Ed Roberts presenting your 2017 August Code Enforcement Officer report. For the month of August, we had an uptick in scavenger investigations. These were all proactive. In the course of my duties, I contacted 9 separate individuals. I charted the various locations of the scavengers for the benefit of the board with a brief narrative underneath each map for your review. If you have any questions regarding the scavenger locations, feel free to ask.
Any questions, Fred? Go ahead, Arthur.
Oh, I'm just interested in the east side right now because I'm getting such feedback of people either stealing the cans or things going on that shouldn't be happening with scavengers. So I was wondering if you could just kind of give a synopsis that everything's together, or?
Certainly, ma'am. Actually, for the benefit of the board, towards the rear of the packet, you'll see a map at a glance of these scavenging locations.
I saw that.
You'll see out of the 9, 4 of them were concentrated on the east side, 2 south end, 2 north end. And I'm very aware of the potential for identity theft. I think that's kind of the biggest threat that we pose for the scavenging beyond the recyclable issue. I received an email from staff in reference to some concerns from folks about that specific issue, and I'll be coordinating with my supervision to see whatever outreach we can do to the members of the community should they have any questions. Like, for example, today I contacted a resident who was very much interested in a lockable cart, a gravity lock, a trash cart. And I know we've done significant outreach to the community in reference on educating them on those matters. And when I'm out there talking to folks, I certainly make them aware of the availability of those trash carts with the locking mechanism on them.
And I appreciate your maps. They're good. You know, it helps to know what's going on.
Thank you, ma'am. That was actually Scott's suggestion on enlarging the maps so they're clearly and readily visible.
He knows how old the eyes are. I have a question for you.
Yes, sir.
Can you describe to me the difference between a verbal admonishment and a verbal advisement?
Lingo, sir.
I don't mean. The reason I bring that up is when I read these reports, you seem to get cooperation from these folks that you're talking to. They seem to go along with what you're telling them, at least according to your reports.
Yes, sir.
I think that's a credit to you for your style. I mean, we hate to be trash police, obviously, but I think giving them an advisement or admonishment to move on, they seem to do it. I mean, rarely do we ever see anybody getting combative with you. So I think the style and the thing we're doing is the right procedure.
Well, thank you, sir. You know, I'm trained in the use of verbal judo and tactful communications with people. Admonishment, essentially, where it's one step up. You know, just kind of a very clear. These are the ramifications if you are caught or observed violating again. And advisement, you know, the person was 100% cooperative right from the get-go, and you can see that it's going to make a clear impact that they're going to go along with the program.
You make me think of my father, who used to really give you the difference between an advisement.
Yeah, I've been admonished in my life too. So, are there any other questions for Ed?
Just how many total containers do we have that are lockable now? Any? Pardon me?
40 out or 40 left? So how many? 52?
So we have
Well, we did
52
100.
left. How many do we have out in the field, though, in the city?
Not close to 100, right?
Yeah, Shannon just sent me a report about how many are out over the last 3 years. I can get that to you.
It's probably close to 100.
Okay. Do we have more that we have available?
Yes, we do. We have 48 available right now.
Okay.
And one more component, just to report to the board of directors, 103 trash carts left out in public view that require notification of the resident. So we have compliance. There's nothing right now of any concern to me right now. We're doing pretty good with the program.
Is that a larger number than normal?
No, sir. That seems to be the norm now. We're averaging anywhere between 90 and about 110 on the people that we're totally notified through the door hangers or the door knobs. Will there be anything else?
Very good report.
Always. Thanks, Ed.
Thanks very much.
All right, we'll move to item 3, website and statistics.
Thank you, Mr. President. Gina Terriano will be giving this report.
Gina.
Good morning, President Schaefer and members of the board. You have before you a report of the district's website visitor statistics. The district's website is hosted by a company called SiteGround, and SiteGround provides its customers with 2 years' worth of visitor statistics. So the information provided in this report covers the time period between August of 2015 and August of 2017. Staff selected 5 sets of statistics to examine, and these can be seen in the attachment to the staff report, which is on the screen. The first data set is website visits, and as you can see, I've included the number of unique visitors as well as the total number of visitors to the district's website. The number of unique visitors refers to distinct individual IP addresses that have visited the website, regardless of how many times they visit, whereas the total number of visits counts how many times the website was visited, even if it was visited several times by the same person or the same IP address. The website receives an average of 3,385 unique visitors per month and a total of 6,116 visits per month on average. The number of unique visitors and visits spiked during certain months, including January, July, and March. And this could be due to visitors seeking information about the Christmas tree recycling program, as well as holiday trash delays or the large item pickup program. The second data set, which is on page 2 of the attachment, looks at the most visited pages on the website. And by far the most visited page, besides the home page, is our large item collection program page. It had a total of 10,957 visits during this 2-year period. Other popular pages included the Christmas tree recycling program, career opportunities, report and issue, the board of directors page, organics recycling program, and the upcoming projects pages. And then the third set of data that we looked at was the top document downloads, which are forms and resources that can be downloaded from the website in PDF format. usually for the purpose of printing or saving. The most commonly downloaded documents were the large item collection tag, as well as several different district press releases, the sewer plan specifications, and the organics recycling program flyer. The next page looks at commonly searched phrases that led visitors to our website. These are pretty common phrases such as Costa Mesa trash pickup, large item pickup, Christmas tree recycling, and various other points of interest pertaining to the district. And then the last set is in the actual staff report, if you can switch back. And there was a request from the board to include some information about the number of page views for the board meeting videos. And so for this data, we looked at visitors who watched the board meeting videos through the district website only. So this doesn't include anybody who looked at videos through Board Docs, because Board Docs doesn't provide us with those statistics. And so as you can see, the number of page views rose significantly beginning in January of 2017, which can be attributed to the website reorganization. We made this video page accessible from 3 different pages on the website as opposed to just one. So we think that's what caused the spike in views. So it's available from the Board of Directors page, the District Clerk page, and the Transparency page. And so that concludes my report. I'm happy to answer any questions that you have.
On that sewer plan specifications,
Yeah.
there's about 170. Do you think this is more like the plumbers, or do you think it's
Yeah.
residents, period, or do you have any
Plumbers or
feel?
developers who would be interested in getting permits. This is something they would probably review in order to turn in their plans to us for permits.
Robbie,
The sewer plan specifications are kind of a guide to how to draw a sewer plan.
Right.
And that goes, and FAO helps them with that. And they assemble their sewer plan using those guidelines. So I frequently use the website for operations code, to make sure I have the latest version when I'm looking something up, and the as-built plans. So engineering community uses it a lot. Didn't show up in those statistics, but it saves us a lot of time and money too, because we don't have to furnish hard copies of plans. They can go to the website. So it's a really great tool.
So you do a lot of referring? Okay.
what was that one on there? I saw something about draining pools. Do people go on the website to see where to drain their pools, do you think?
I think that was one of the commonly searched phrases.
Yeah.
So yeah, it may be
Yeah.
something.
There's a little history behind that. Back in yesteryear, we used to drain it in the street.
Exactly.
And
Yeah.
then they made it, new pools had to be hooked up to the sewer system. So if you call the city and say, how do I empty my pool? They'll tell you to put it in the sewer. But what we'll say is, could you please put it in the street? Because it's drinking water quality, and it costs money to treat wastewater. And they'll say, well, it's got chlorine in it. And we'll say, not after an hour from turning off the pump. So unfortunately, we have to treat pool water. And it's really clean enough to go out in the street.
I have 2 questions. You know, talking about the pools, when did that law come into effect with the city of Costa Mesa about putting in the sewer line? You know,
I don't know the date.
in the 70s?
It could, yeah, somewhere.
Okay. Because I had a pool put in the 70s and had to go into the sewer line. And before that, I saw people draining their pool in the street.
Very common.
Then my second question was, for CRNR, how many large item pickups do we have per month? Do you have an average, or?
About 66.
Oh, really, that many? That's pretty good. That's a great service then.
Between 45 and 60 per month.
That's awesome.
It really is, that's fantastic. That is a great service.
Yeah, because I've never heard that figure before. That's good.
No. Well, we were so used to it being all,
I know,
you know,
one time.
everybody at one time.
No, it's a much better system.
That is Okay, I'm going to open this for public comments. Mr. Mosher, you've indicated a desire.
Thank you, President Schaefer and members of the board. My name is Jim Mosher. I believe the district website is generally good and well organized, which is in keeping with public agencies increasingly interacting with the public through the internet. Frankly, I'm surprised at how many people view the videos of these meetings. I don't personally find them the most riveting of TV.
Thanks. We'll have to have maybe to lighten it up a little.
However, I did want to mention that part of the public interaction does occur at these meetings, and I would respectfully suggest the district might consider, given the importance of the website and the information that's on it, providing a guest or public access to the internet at the meetings or in the building here generally for the visitors, which to the best of my knowledge we used to have a few years ago at the old building and do not have at this building. It's something to consider. And the second thing, websites as good as they are, when they have many pages, there becomes with that a obligation to keep them up to date, which is more difficult than people imagine when there are many pages. I myself had the experience of trying to prepare a comment for the Newport Beach City Council tonight, where they're considering for the first time in many years raising their sewer rates. And I wanted to verify my understanding that I believe this district invests about $2 million a year on average in capital improvements for its sewer system, which is almost exactly the same size as the one in Newport Beach. I wanted to look in the budget to verify that number, and I was surprised to see on the obscure page that has the budget in it, there is not a budget posted for the current year. And I am sure that you have adopted a budget for the current year, but that page is out of date, so the public just sees the one that ended in June. Thank you.
Thank you.
Do we have an answer for that question?
We
Scott.
need to check to see whether the current budget's not on the website.
Staff is working on it right now. They're just finalizing the budget. There's hundreds of pages, and I've only got one staff person working on it. I think it's complete, and Wendy's doing a review of it right now. It should be up within a week or two.
What about the amount? Is the amount correct, about $2 million?
Yeah, between $2.5 million we spend. Yeah.
That's what Jim's
That's
looking
correct.
for.
That's accurate. Yes.
Okay, anything else on the website?
That's pretty awesome, really.
The one thing that really jumped out at me, if you guys noticed that with the press release on Jim Warner, there were more hits for that than anything.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that was kind of cool to see. You know which one I'm talking about, Gina?
Yeah.
It was a press release, over 600 hits just on that press release.
That's surprising.
Very surprising. Okay, let's move to item 4 then, Scott.
Thank you, Mr. President. So this item is to consider establishing a Citizens Advisory Committee that will give citizens an opportunity to get involved in their community and while at the same time assist board on decision-making issues. If the board does decide establishing a committee, I believe, or staff believes, it can achieve 4 objectives, which are described in your staff report. One of those objectives, as I mentioned earlier, is that citizens can have an opportunity to get involved in their community. The citizens on the committee will also become knowledgeable about CMSD and how we operate, and also how we are meeting our mission, vision, and core values. A third objective is that citizens on the committee can serve as ambassadors to CMSD, helping disseminate information like new and existing programs. And then fourth, the committee can help the board directors on key decision-making issues. Attached in your staff report is a proposed mission statement, operating guidelines, and a list of responsibilities for the committee. Staff is recommending a committee of 11 members. We can increase that or decrease that if you so choose so. The committee would operate under the Robert's Rules of Order and will comply with the Ralph M. Brown Act. And we would also videotape the committee and put it on our website. If you do approve this committee, I foresee that the meeting would meet quarterly, but at start it would meet several times a month to get them acquainted about CMSD and how we operate. A lot of those meetings will be tours, like at our yard, at OCSD's wastewater facility, Orange County Water District replenishment project, also going to CRNR's transfer stations in their Paris facility. So that's going to take a few months. Once that's completed, then I can see the committee meeting quarterly. If they want to meet more, they can. Some of the topics that they can discuss is also on your staff report. Some of the topics could be new and existing solid waste programs or solid waste diversion programs, wastewater operations like our pipeline cleaning, our pump station maintenance, capital improvement projects. We can also talk about strategic plan goals, policy and procedures, like when we update our operations code, they can review that as well. Finances, like the budget, community outreach, and also the rates, which we'll be talking about here in a couple of years. So if you approve the committee or this staff report today, then we will come back for final approval on September 21st. And if you approve it on September 21st, then we'll go and start advertising the positions, start recruiting for committee members with the intent of the first meeting beginning in January 2018. So that concludes my presentation. Happy to answer any questions.
What kind of criteria are you going to use to select the committee members?
The criteria is good. I think it's up to you how you want us to set it. I really don't have anything in mind right now. Obviously, it has to be a resident of our service area. Wants to be involved in the community, but I really haven't really thought it through. So if you have any suggestions, I'd be more than happy to hear them.
I think we talked about it before. Remember, you suggested the city of Costa Mesa has a format already.
Right, yeah,
that we could use.
It's how they do their selection for their committees. I think we should follow that as much as we can. One of the comments I had was, we can bring this back for approval at the September meeting if that's what you're going to do. But I'd really like to have this as part of the open house in October. I think this would be a real good part of that agenda to announce to the public that we're doing this. Get as much bang out of it as we can, rather than just send out a note, say, hey, we're doing it.
Sure.
But make it a part of the open house.
Approve it, then not announce it until the open house.
It'll be, well, obviously, with all the people that look at our website, they'll all know that we've approved it on September 21st. But make a formal announcement at the town hall meeting.
That we're going to?
That we're going to do this.
Oh, okay.
I have another question.
Because, okay, finish it.
In your structure, is the board member running the meeting, or is it the manager or a citizen?
No, it'd be the citizens. That was the structure. But again, it's whatever you want. If you want to have a board member chair the meeting, we can do that. That's not a problem.
No, I haven't really thought about it, but I thought we should have an idea before we go into this.
Yeah, definitely. The way it's presented to you right now is the committee will select their chair and vice chair, and staff would be there to support them to operate their meetings. Obviously, it's open to the public, so the board members want to attend, that they're more than happy to attend. But if you want a board member on the committee, we could do that too. At this point, we don't have that on the guidelines.
I know as a city council member, I was assigned
as
a liaison to certain committees and it was optional for me to attend, but I think that might be.
I think it's a wise idea.
Even if we rotate, not just designate one of us, but if they're going to have 4 meetings a month, we can all rotate through that. I think the committee, the citizens committee, would like to have a board member there to clarify something or answer a question.
Sure.
Well, I think with the city committees, there is an assigned council person, but oftentimes other board members attend, and because they're interested in what the committee is, thinking about.
Would we be in violation if more than 2 of us attended?
Not if it was a noticed meeting.
It's a notice meeting. Yes, it'll be noticed.
Can you add that part to your proposal?
It's in the proposal. It'll comply with the Brown Act. So.
No, about having a board member.
Oh yes, yeah. I'll have my notes in here. Yes.
I think that's a smarter idea, personally.
Sure.
Overall, I like the idea. I really do, but I don't want to see us rushing into something without a lot of. To me, I see holes in it. I see where we need to get the information what the city does. I know that being like Mike, I was with the city and also on different committees assigned. And when you had over 3, it was real simple. You can have that, but only 2 can talk. 1 can sit there, but you can't say anything. unless you notice it.
Right.
So, but as far as the criteria, I remember that what happened was on the planning commission, each director got to appoint 2 people or whatever, like you got 11, if you want to make it 12 to be even or whatever. And then you went through that with your directors. In other words, each one of us could appoint so many, but at the same time, then we all have to approve it for it to come to pass. Anyway, this is what I mean. To me, there's so many little things that I can't go for until I see what's going on with it. But at the same time, overall, yes, I think we should do it. But, I can see, like Mike's saying, to just announce that we're setting this up and make it, so that it's not a real positive type. I mean, it could be that we're setting it up, but nothing.
Yeah. I think that's a wise way to go, because I'm not sure, because I've never been involved with something like this, like you guys have.
I think, don't forget too, this committee, if we're going to make it up of 11 people, we hope 11 people will apply. I mean, don't assume 100 people are going to apply for this thing.
Yeah.
Because they won't. You know what I mean?
I think you'd be surprised.
I hope I'm surprised.
Yeah.
But I think the idea of this is in tune with what people want to do, and I think there would be a lot of interest out there in the community for it. So,
What about setting up an ad hoc committee just to kind of framework it?
That's probably a good idea.
And present, I mean, I don't want to delay this thing. We've been horsing around with this for, what, a year, 2 years?
Oh, yeah.
So, but let's, if we're going to do an ad hoc committee, let's give them a time period that they got to get this initial thing done.
And the ad hoc committee can oversee everything that the city does compared to what the ad hoc committee would like to add that isn't on yet.
well, we can still agendize this for September to go forward with the concept, and then work out the details after we approve it.
I took down the notes what the board had concerns with. I can easily bring that back for your 21st, September 21st.
Is that all right?
Yeah.
And
One.
maybe at that time, an ad hoc committee?
Mm-hmm.
No, I think, with the holidays coming up, time is of the essence if we want to get the committee in place by January. So I would launch this thing as soon as possible, and see what kind of response we get, and maybe have a preliminary interest. If 100 people sign up, then we've got a different process than if 3 sign up.
Okay, I'm going to open this to public comments. Jim, you'd like to speak on this item as well?
Thank you again, President Schaefer and members of the board. My name again is Jim Mosher. I obviously are all for public engagement, and I think this is a commendable effort to ensure that the actions you take are in tune with at least a segment of your public that you would be polling in this. I first wanted to point out, I don't know how far you're going with that, there are a couple of errors in the draft of the Citizen Advisory Committee rules and regulations that were set up. First one at the top of page 2, there's a paragraph warning members that if they don't attend 3 meetings in a row, they will be kicked off. If you read carefully the last sentence of that paragraph, it says if a member does not attend 4 meetings in a calendar year, excused or unexcused, they could be removed. If there's only 4 meetings in a year, that means if they missed 1, they would be thrown off. So I think there's something wrong with that sentence. It's not saying what was intended. And then under E, the second paragraph of that has the same statement is repeated twice. Somebody in copying and pasting that. The first sentence is repeated in the second sentence. As to the substance of the thing, this seems to be an extension of the Citizens Academy that I thought you were going to set up a year or 2 ago. Like the President, I'm considering the attendance you have here today. I'm a little wondering where you're going to find the 11 people. Although if there's 200 people who watch the video, there's more interest in this than I realize. it seems to me when you had a vacancy on the board that you would think a lot of people would be interested. And I'm not sure you even had 11 applications for that. So I think 11 is a little ambitious. And then however the group is set up, and however many people are set up on it, I would like to suggest that there's 2 different models that the board might be considering for this. One is kind of a grand jury model where you impanel a group of people, educate them about what the district is doing, and then send them off to, on their own, write a report on how well they think you're doing, deliver the report to you and be done. And then some future time, maybe 2 years from now, 4 years from now, appoint another grand jury-like group like that to check what you're doing. The other one is ongoing group, which this seems to be set up to be. I'm not totally sure what the ongoing group is going to be doing all the time. In my experience, if they meet only quarterly, they're kind of going to lose interest in the thing and drop out. If they really have something that they're actively pursuing, they probably would be meeting more often than that. I would suggest also for continuity in the group, rather than appointing a bunch of people in January and reappointing another group 2 years from now, that as most such committees are, you have staggered terms. So the first group, some of them would be 1-year terms, some of them 2-year, and then they would kind of alternate after that, or perhaps longer terms. And I would also think that the officers should be elected new each year to maintain interest in the group. So I would have staggered terms officers each year. And it's not exactly clear how you would do the training, because then you'd have new people. But if it's an ongoing group, you can have that problem anyway. And then finally, I would remind the district and the clerk, I'm sure is aware, that in addition to the Brown Act, when you're appointing groups like this, you may not have the same experience that a city has. There's some additional obligations on the clerk. She has to maintain an appointments list and so forth, and there are rules for how you advertise the vacancies. That's called the Maddie Act. It's different from the Brown Act. Thank you.
I think those are good points that we should consider. Very good points.
You know, as he was talking, I was just thinking too, we might even just have something in the website of, are you interested if an ad hoc committee was formed, you know, and see what interest there is.
Well, I think we need to move on and have it, and then see how it develops, and then we can, because they can help us with a number of different issues like rates and other things.
Sure.
And for advisement, but I'm not sure. I think if we don't want to take a lot of time doing that if we want to get it going like by January, because if you get comments from the website, it may take us a while. Just a thought.
Yeah, I agree. I think we need to move it. Bob made this too. We need to move on this and get it going, and then refine it as we go with the suggestions. The one thing that Mr. Mosier brought up that I kind of tuned in on is the staggered terms. And we could appoint, if we're going to do 11 people, 5 of them would be 1 year and 6 of them would be 2 year. I mean, they would all know that going into the application process. I don't know how you decide which are which, but we could work that out.
Right.
So at the next meeting, we're going to suggest that we do the committee, or the
in next
ad hoc,
week.
ad hoc committee.
Yeah.
I agree with you, by the way. I just threw out.
Oh, no,
no.
But that has good merit, no problem. I'm not going to argue over that one, because it's true. I like the whole overall. I was just trying to figure, but that's true, because if you threw it out and said, how many want to be on it, how would you get an answer when they don't know what's expected out of them?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't have a problem.
I didn't want to offend you.
Okay. Do you have what we need, Scott?
Yep, got it, thank you.
Well, one more thing.
Yeah, Bob.
The committees for the city make reports periodically to the city, so I forget whether there was a reporting criteria from the committee.
There is.
And I'll have to go back and reread that.
Okay.
I think we're moving in the right direction.
The more transparent we are, the better. All right, let's go to item 5, the organics tonnage report.
Thank you, Mr. President. It's just staff is here to answer any questions, or Nabila Guzman can answer any questions you have.
Questions?
It looks like we're continually rising.
Which means our cost is going to be rising.
Come on, Scott.
I know, but, you know, our percentages are increasing.
One item that I'd like to see added to this report is what we budget. There's a tonnage that is used when we develop the budget.
Okay.
So if you'd put that on there, you know, that would add some clarity for me.
Okay.
People are either eating more or cutting their lawns more. Hey,
Cutting
you
their
know.
lawns more.
Yeah.
Every time I drive by, there's all, our cans are out there.
Yes.
On the streets.
Yeah. Are we still seeing, Bob had mentioned an issue on an alleyway off Baker Street a while back about somebody using the carts for something else or stealing the,
Well, the carts all disappeared.
That's on, off of Royal Palm there,
off
on
of
the
Royal
alleyway.
Palm, yeah.
It was the alley directly across from your street. It's called Deodar, I think. The street is a little short.
It's called Deodar.
Theodore.
Yeah,
Which is the
that was
same
my second guess as to what it was called. Anyway, you know, there was a
I used to office on that street, that's why I know.
there was a truck went through and they were picking up some things, but they picked up all the organics carts. And our code enforcement officer explained it, but you know, it's never been clear in my mind. I have pictures of the truck that stole the carts. It was interesting because I happened to be walking through that area. It was about 3 blocks from my car.
You were walking through the alleys?
And I was looking in the organics cart, and there were none.
Is Paris fully operational? Everything's going now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's all going, we just took a tour there, 2 weeks ago. It's really cool, yeah, everything's up and running, and they're planning for phase 3, I think.
Yeah,
Is
so that's
phase
my
1
next
and 2 going?
1 and 2 are going.
I believe so,
Yeah.
1 and 2, yeah.
Because when we were there, we saw phase 1. It was not going yet, but it was almost ready.
Oh, yeah, there's been a lot of progress. I know even since the first group of my coordinators met last year, they have a whole brand new office building and everything, the whole new world. Really exciting. Yeah.
Maybe time for another tour, Scott.
Yeah.
For us, I
definitely.
mean, I'd like to see that finished product. Yeah, that'd be kind of cool.
Could I ask a couple of questions?
Yeah, of course.
Okay. When the gardeners in the cities and the community take their green waste, where do they take it to now? Do they take it to the dump site?
They probably take it to a transfer station.
Is there a fee for dropping it off?
Mhm.
What is that fee, do you know?
I
Is it by the ton?
Yes, it's by a ton. Yes, I don't know.
Okay. And then, so my idea, you know, I threw out to you the other day is when we look at the facility at OCC, they have a large area that they're not really using right now with the new facility there.
Is it on the side
On
there?
the side to the right. I was thinking, this is just a wild idea I had, you know me, trying to build up our percentages. Having a transfer station there where the gardeners in our city take the green waste to this OCC, pay their dump fee, and this was through CRNR. CRNR, when the truck, the thing is full, they take it out and take it out to Paris. Is there any value in that for a program like that?
I have no idea. I would need.
Because I was going to ask Dean today, but I didn't. He's, you know, you're a rep now, but just.
Right. I could definitely forward that idea and find out.
I mean, is there any value for you to take it because you use it for fuel? Is there any if it's a cost effective?
I don't know that because I'm not sure of all the, operational costs, but I mean, for the community, I think it would be
Well,
good.
because we're trying to get our percentages up to the state mandates for 2020. And I thought if we can get an increased green waste and food waste, that might be one idea. Just a thought.
I think it's a good thought.
You know, I'm not sure if it's feasible, but just a thought. And I ran it by Scott, and Scott, was thinking about it also. But if you could, just for curiosity, if that's something that's viable.
I can definitely ask.
Okay.
You know Scott's response to that is, the more organics, the more.
More cost.
More cost. Yeah.
But, I mean, the gardeners would be paying the dump fee to offset the cost of, this wouldn't be, you know, we would get the percentage because it's in Costa Mesa, but it wouldn't be our project. It'd be CR&R's project with those, OCC.
Right.
And that, all of the cost would go between those two.
You're-
But I don't know if it's viable.
You'd have to talk to Mike Carey. My initial thought is it's probably not feasible because there are strict guidelines on dumping green waste. That's why you find green waste now are in enclosed areas and they have misters because of odor problems. So if you're dumping green waste out in the open on OCC, it's going to create some odors and you're going to get some complaints in that neighborhood.
See, I don't know all that information.
Yeah, so it's something to talk about, Mike Carey, but I honestly I don't think it's feasible. Just don't think.
Okay. I think it'd be worth talking to Mike. I thought about when we first went to the organics more, I talked about what are the gardeners. I see a lot of gardeners putting stuff in our
Some of the trash cans.
yeah. And I think it's really up to our residents to tell the gardeners to do that.
What does the city do when they cut all their city properties? Where do they take their green waste to?
They have
I think they take it to the yard. They have a roll-off bin. They dump it in a roll-off bin at the yard.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's where
they
take
have
it.
all their gardening's being done by subcontractors.
Yeah,
There's
I
no
know,
city
but
guys.
I mean, where do they take it to? The landfills?
I tell you that if you want to see the group that would get us more organics would be the school district.
No, I was going to bring that up next.
School district has more.
Because they have a number of crews that cut every day.
Yeah.
And I don't know where they dump theirs.
Is the school district coming to the liaison?
Yes, they are.
Well, I think increasingly they're just leaving it lay rather than having the mowers that collect it. So, I see some mowing around the school district and the city, and they're not necessarily collecting it as they used to. But I had a question for CR&R. I think it's probably time for us to get an update on the organics go in the green can, and the green can's picked up, and it's taken to Stanton, I believe, and then there's some sorting done before it goes on to the anaerobic digesters, and we allow twigs and things. We have a whole list of materials that are supposed to be put in the green can, and I believe people probably we need to understand whether people are confused about what is to be put in there. So big limbs aren't going on, to be diverted, but we're paying for those. So I'd be interested in a future analysis of what is showing up at Stanton and how they move it on to Paris, and to see if it's time, to reevaluate educating the public about what really truly should go in those green bins. I know there's, I went up and watched them dump a couple trucks, and early on in the program there was a lot of white bags, which wasn't green waste. So we're a couple years into the program, and so we need to think through how to make the program more effective and or how to lower the cost. And it's probably minuscule, but
couldn't we reconsider putting it in the newsletter? Have CNR put it together?
Well, I think what Bob's saying.
well, that's where it's eventually headed. If there's any changes needed in the program.
This newsletter's failed already, but it would have to be the next one. Is that correct, Gina?
Yeah.
So, we put out a newsletter every 3 months, is it? So, we have time to do some analysis, and it maybe the analysis will show nothing needs to be done, or a little bit, or nothing, So,
Okay, any other questions on organics? Then we'll move to solid waste diversion.
Thank you, Mr. President. Again, this report is just for your information, and we are available to answer any questions.
Questions? Bob?
well, we're a little over 60%. So we really haven't moved the needle much with the organics program, and you know, that may be, I think we are collecting increasing tonnage for that program, but the report shows that the tonnage, they show a waste characterization that's done by CR&R, and it shows the types of materials that are being recycled. What I would like to see is a corollary table that show how much of what kind of materials can't be recycled. So, you know, just for clarification and better understanding by me, if that's readily available. So there's a table there that shows, you know, the 13, 14 different types of materials that we do recycle. And so what is showing up in the trash that can't be
I
recycled?
can definitely work with Shelley on this to see if she can get that report to us. Yeah.
You may not produce that report. This is basically like the waste characterization.
Right, yeah, that's not something that is regularly generated, but I might be able to ask around and try to kind of find out what the major materials are
Yeah.
that are disposed of, so I can do that.
Just to get an eye on potential increasing that percentage. And then, of course, I'd be interested, staff will be presenting how we're going to get the 75%, how to meet the 75% criteria in 2020. And I think that report should come sooner than later, because 2020 is only a few birthdays away.
At your September 21st meeting, staff will give you an update of our negotiations with CR&R and get some direction from the board. In that staff report will be CR&R proposal on how to increase the 75%.
Okay.
So
That's
you'll get it in a couple
wonderful.
weeks.
Okay, good.
I can't remember. Tell me what PET and HDPEs are.
Those are plastics.
That's okay. That's that little stamp that's at the bottom of the right.
Number 1 and number 2.
Okay. I'm not as dumb as I look.
Do we
Don't
know?
answer that. All right.
I got another question.
Go ahead.
Do we know what the percentage of cities recycling now?
Well, we will have that to you on the 21st, where CNR is gathering a diversion rate, just a residential diversion rate of all the cities compared to us. And according to CNR, we're far exceeding all the other cities. So we'll see that and bring that to the
Our
board.
report goes in with the cities, is that correct?
Yes.
So do we know what the cities' percentage is right now?
Well, they don't go by diversion anymore. They go by per capita, disposal rate per capita. And I think the goal for Costa Mesa was like 11 pounds per capita, and I think they're down like to 4 pounds per capita. So they're significantly below the state requirements.
Should we bring that up at the liaison meeting?
I don't know. I don't know the exact numbers though. I just we have to do some more research.
Because they're going to have to reach that total also, 11 pounds, right?
No, they have to go below 11 tons. So the goal is
so
below.
they're 4?
Yeah, they're 4. So they're hitting that goal. So yeah, they're doing
sounds
fine.
good.
Yeah,
Okay.
the goal is to
I was
have
thinking
fewer tons per capita. That's the goal.
Okay.
Fewer tons.
Well, maybe, so we report diversion rate, and is that not the state's criteria anymore? So I may need to be brought up to date on what is the goal, and why are we reporting the diversion rate if that's not the state's mandated 2020 goal? Well,
that's what they use a 75% diversion on their AB 340 law. That is, they use the word diversion, but when the cities file the reports to the state, they use the per capita tonnage. And again, that was a law that was passed a couple of years ago that changed it from diversion to per capita. So they're using it both too. The state is.
I'm just interested in which criteria we use to get to 75%.
I think we use the diversion. That's our goal.
Okay.
That's what we set our goal for.
Okay.
And then the city can calculate that for their requirements.
We'll say we only come to 65%, and we throw it in with the cities, right? Because you have to report it. Will that bump theirs 4 point whatever up to like 5, and they're still under?
But it'll actually go down. So if our diversion goes up, their per capita waste is going to go down. So that's the goal is to have their per capita waste go down.
Even if we're at say 63% right now,
right?
Will they meet the state criteria by us being only at 65%?
Yeah, because they also calculate commercial recycling, demolition, construction, roll-off bins. That it's all that they could put all that data into one, and they come with that calculation of per capita. So yeah, that's that's where they're getting that low per capita.
So our goal is still 75%.
That's the board's goal. Actually, the board's goal, it was back in 2012, was to set a 75% diversion in 2015 and 90% by 2020. We're not going to get there. So I think we should be focused on a 75%.
Yeah, goal is a goal.
Yes. Yeah.
Well, what I would hope CRNR explains is all these different criteria, and I thought I understood it, but obviously not.
Is Dean going to be at that meeting on Thursday?
Oh, yeah.
On the 21st?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he'll be there.
I'm looking forward to the.
I can, the next study session, I can bring back a report. We can bring back a report how the city calculates its per capita and how the state requires the city to do that.
That'd be real good.
Okay.
That'd be excellent.
But when they send the report in, we're part of that report,
Yes,
right?
yes.
Okay. That's my point.
Okay, and we'll move to oral communications and director comments. Just one quick comment. It always amazes me how people forget about the holidays and the trash being delayed a day. I got a call on my cell phone Saturday from a resident named Halecrest, and she was really upset. She says, I'm here at my mother's house and the trash hasn't been picked up. This is the middle of the day on Saturday. And she says, in fact, if you look around, all of Halecrest hasn't been picked up yet. And I said, well, there was a holiday and trash was, she goes, no, Labor Day was 2 weeks ago. I said, no, it was last Monday. So, she finally, well, I'll let you know if it doesn't. I never heard back from her, but it amazes me how people can react that quickly. Our whole neighborhood hasn't been picked up.
Yeah.
Give it some time.
Well, I can tell you, I went out and looked at my cans, and I was surprised that it wasn't picked up. And then I thought,
so you put yours out a day early. Huh? I didn't
put
see
it
your
up.
address on Ed's report. Good.
CSDA is having annual legislation tour, and so for anybody who wishes to go to it, it's a Southern tour, so that I'm involved as one of the Southern Division directors. And it's Orange County Water District, Orange County Cemetery District, and the Mosquito Vector Control District. And what it is we meet at MODOC, and they will provide some coffee and whatever. And then Orange County Sanitation District is involved in it too. And I think they're probably doing the transportation for us. But anyway, it's a great opportunity if you wanted to see other areas, how they function and what they look like. So you're welcome to come to it. It's Thursday, October 12th. So just, you put it down and think about it.
To the clerk and have her send that out.
I can give it to you.
They got to quit doing tours on Tuesday now.
Why tell them? And it actually starts, I think it's 8:30.
How long does it take?
I have no idea. No idea. It's probably the whole morning. But, okay, so I just wanted to let you know that. And that's about it. Aside from we're doing Thursday with the with the recycling, which is exciting. So that's it.
Okay. Anybody else? All right, if there's nothing else, we'll adjourn the meeting. Thank you all.
Good job.